Hey everyone, this is a quick demonstration of the project deposit invoices feature for Acumatica created by Trabea software. And I'm on the project template screen. I've got the construction progress billing project template pulled up, and on here we've added a deposit percentage to the summary area. We've also added a deposit percentage to the revenue budget line area, so you can set those independently. And if we start our project, and let's pick a template, and we'll pick that same construction progress billing template, and we'll save and get our project ID. And just to show, if we go down to the summary tab again, it inherited that 10% deposit. And if we go to the revenue budget, it also inherited those lines, so the 15 from the line on the template as well. So we're first actually going to go to the tasks. So we've got an enable deposits field here, and I'm going to go ahead and check that for the top two. The idea here is we may want to generate and send or print deposit invoices for the customer for this project, but we're not yet ready, maybe until we receive that deposit, to activate the project in tasks. So this operates independently from these workflow statuses. Now, if you have marked it completed or canceled or something to that effect, it will honor that. It won't let you create the deposits then. But if it's, as long as it's in planning or active or any custom status you may have, as long as it's not setting the task to completed or canceled, it should be okay. And so if I come over to the revenue budget tab, you'll see I've got pending deposits of $804,000. And that is because these top two lines, it's the summary of these top two lines, right? Because those are the two tasks that we enable deposits for. So just like your pending invoice amount total is what feeds run project billing, the pending deposits amount total feeds the create deposit invoice feature. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, that's going to generate a new invoice for us for the project, but it is a custom type, this deposit invoice type. I'm going to go ahead and release this invoice type. So it's pulled in the lines from the two revenue budget lines that we initiated that for, and it's got our project information set, and you can set a different numbering sequence from the rest of your AR invoices. You can do that on our deposit invoices preferences. So that is set here. This window mode, you have same tab, new tab, or pop-up window. That controls when you run that project, or that, the deposit invoice creation from the project. It created the deposit invoice in a new tab, and that's just because that's how I have it configured. It could have opened up in the same tab or pop-up window. And also, if you were not going to use the enable deposits feature, we can default enable them all to true, and then you can hide that column in your column configurator, and you don't need to use that feature. So that's the preferences associated with this feature. We'll go back to the invoice. So this is now open. This is the deposit invoice. The financial tab, we do not have a GL batch because it does not generate a financial transaction like you would normally see with a regular invoice. We're not going to hit sales. We're not going to hit accounts receivable. And you can send this via email, or you could print it just like a normal invoice. And so this is our placeholder so that we can do that step. And also, when we receive a prepayment, we have something to link it to so that it's also tied to the project as well. And you could have a existing prepayment and come and add it here. Or if you just receive the prepayment and you've got this deposit invoice, you can create the prepayment from that deposit invoice. It'll fill in the appropriate values, and let's go ahead and release. And let's look at this tab over here. This is a new tab, and it's got that deposit invoice selected here and the amount that we're tying to that deposit invoice. So this isn't an application per se in terms of this is still an open prepayment. It can still be applied to an open invoice, but it is considering what project it's tied to, and if this prepayment amount was higher than this deposit invoice, you could actually attach it to more deposit invoices here, right? So it understands that you may have some fluidity there with the payments arriving from a customer. So you could go through the process we just did, or if you have a prepayment that exists, you could add it here, or just as I showed earlier, you can add the prepayment from the deposit invoice as well. So there's multiple routes you can take to get these linked together. And I just want to refresh here on the project so that we can see the statistics for the deposits. So if we come here, we no longer have a pending deposit amount. We have a deposits received. Before I recorded that prepayment, this would have been sitting in open deposits. After you release your deposit invoice and it's open, it's there in the open deposits. So now they're in deposits received, and it's in unapplied deposits because we haven't yet applied it. So if we're going to show the application, if I activate the project, and I need to activate at least that first task there to show this step, and we'll go back to our revenue budget tab. So we'll go back to our revenue budget, and we need to indicate that we've completed a portion of this. So now we've got a pending invoice amount total. So if I run project billing, this is going to create our pro forma. Let me approve and release the pro forma. So these are native steps for normal project billing. And now let's go to that new invoice that was just created, and yes, I need to release it. So we've released our normal invoice, and now we want to take that prepayment and we want to apply that to that invoice. So that's right here, this 3/11/24, that's the same date we are today. And I'm going to go ahead and release this. Let's go back to our project. And let's take a look at what we've got on our statistics here for our deposits. So we're still at the same number of received, but now that 804,000 has shifted from unapplied to applied. So we now have visibility on the deposits received. We can send and email the deposit invoice. These are all features that are not available with the native Acumatica installation. And one more thing to show is we've also built this Create Deposit Invoices process screen. So it operates the exact same way if you're familiar with the Run Project Billing process screen. It's got the exact same filters and layout and scheduling capabilities, but it'll create the deposit invoices for us. All right, thank you very much. Let me know if there are any questions.